as is the case with so many people that are going to speak last, everyone truly has already said everything. I mean, what a beautiful portrait of Chip's life has just been painted up here by his family and his friends. And so, Philippa, I know you want me to speak last and to wrap this up, but I'm just going to have to ad-lib this, because if I follow anything that I wrote down, it's going to be the same. My name's Gary Stizman, and my colleagues and I had the privilege of working with Chip Hankins for a little over 10 years. We met him when we bought a book of business from Steve Butler, and Chip came over with us, and I'll touch ever so briefly on the business aspect of that in a moment. But you folks sure captured this guy. I'll tell you, it was unbelievable. So my mind's been racing as everyone's saying what I was going to say, trying to come up with some things that maybe are a few extra things. So, his dear friends, how many of you ever remember seeing Chip wearing a shirt where he buttoned it? The sleeves. I mean, how many of you ever remember sleeves being buttoned, right? Never. Did you ever see him when he was wearing a tie? Did you ever see him without that old red tie that was never tied and it was just hanging down? He was something. Amanda, you mentioned roller skates. We have a roller skating story in our company. He was a legend. When Chip and Philippa decided that they were going to go to New Zealand and build a new life and cast their lot down there, we didn't understand it really, because we're saying, here's this rocket through the sky, this wonderful Chip Hankins who had entered our life and brought so much to our company and his clients and us, his friends and everything else. But they were going to go, and that's all there was to it. Chip had made up his mind, Flip had made up their mind, and they were going to go. And you remember, Flip, I called you, I tried to talk you out of it, everything we could do. But they went. And Chip had made a decision that he was going to determine who in our company was going to handle which accounts. I mean, he was meticulous in how that was going to be handled. Now, my son Matthew, who's the chief operating officer of our company, isn't involved in accounts. I mean, he's running the company and blah, 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 blah. And I'm not going to go into all that stuff right now. But Chip decided that there were 2 or 3 accounts that Matt was going to handle because of what he felt would be the matchup of personalities. And as you know, Chip was a networker of the first order. I mean, my God, could he weave together groups of people and the rest of it. So Matt meets Chip in San Francisco, walks into a conference room, everyone's there. They sit down, and I think Chip, with that innate intelligence of his and his understanding of things way beyond what most people really, really think about is an orthodox way to do it, he gave my son a PhD that day in how to build relationships and do it, because they sat there and they talked, and not once for an hour and a half, Matt tells me later, did they ever mention anything about our company, mention anything about what we do, mention anything about how well Matt was going to do. And then at the end of it, Chip, in a coat and tie, and the rest of it, everyone's in a coat and tie, said, well, okay, then that settles it. Matt's going to handle this account. Nothing was ever said. And the other guy says, yeah, great, we'd love to have you on board, Matt, that'd be great. And your Chip Hankins and our Chip Hankins stood up. He was wearing roller skates, and he roller skated out of the office. Now, I mean, nobody does that. You have to understand, nobody does that. I don't know, Flip, if this is what you want me to do, honey, but that's it. Okay. Matt came back and reported it to me, and I said, well, I can't fire him either. He quit. So, I mean, what are you going to do about that? As you know, Chip and Flip had bought their parcel of land out by Martinez, and Chip just reveled in that and used to love riding his horses and then come into the office. And one day, Chip and I were going to go into San Francisco together. He asked me to join him to go see the CEO of an accounting firm. And we were going to go and talk to them about that they should hire our wonderful firm and all that kind of stuff. Chip came walking into my office. I just wish today I could have had a picture to put up there. He had grunge all over his hands. He had straw and manure all over his shoes. And I took one look at him and I said, very nice. I said, but Chip, we're not going to see Jed Clampett today. You know, we're going to see this guy who's a button-down, what do you call it, guy? And he said, oh, he says, I know. And you know, you remember Chip with the little tee-hee laugh of his, and then he would look down like this and say, and he just disarmed you. He disarmed everybody all the time. And he said, yeah, I know, Gary. He said, but it happened again. He says, and you know, he said, I was riding a horse and the sun was rising and I was out there and the rest of it, he said, and I just didn't check myself, you know, before I got here. And I said, Chip, I got that, okay? I said, but there's manure all over your shoes and now all over my carpet, in my office. So anyways, those are just a couple of the short stories of, because the rest of you captured all the rest of it and everything else. But for all the portrait that's been painted here of Chip this morning, I don't want to talk about business today and stuff, but I would be remiss if I didn't fill in one small little chapter of Chip's life. We've never had anyone with our company like him. And I really mean that, never. When he came to us, we had bought this book of business, and he had to start from scratch again. And in a period of 10 years, maybe 11 years, he built a very, very successful book of business. We've never had anyone do it any faster or any better. Flip and I were talking right over there just a little bit earlier about how really innately smart, intelligent, this guy really was. And he wasn't just smart just in academic things. He was smart in the way he went about things, smart in the way he did things. And he understood that relationships and everything matter. Now, you all know Chip was in insurance, and you know that primarily he sold employee benefits. But if you buy insurance for your car and the car gets crashed, you just buy another car. I never saw anybody have a party or a deal for a car or a house, anything like that. I mean, but in the products that Chip sold, he knew that the only time anyone ever needed his products, and what we did, was when something went wrong with themselves or their family, someone they loved, and he knew that. And during the entire time Chip was with us, I guarantee you he never lost a client. Now, that's remarkable. Over an 11-year period of time, he never lost a client. He was kind, he was attentive, he was everything that we could have ever wanted to have with our company. And I don't think I can say it any better than that. I would take 10 of them, one of them more, tomorrow morning. It was devastating to us when he left. We were happy for him, but it was just devastating to us. And then he just took such good care to make sure that his clients and everybody was taken care of. I wish I had some magic words that I could say. I don't think words have ever been invented that can make us understand fully or take away the pain of something like this fully. I just know as I get to be where I am in my life and my age right now that I don't think the length that someone lives their life is the only measure of that life. And I think that how they lived that life and what they accomplished in it and what they meant to other people is as important. And what can I say? This man was a terrific husband. He was a terrific son. He was a terrific father. And he was a really good friend to all of us that were here. I hate to make you stand, but could we just all raise a glass? And, we don't know why, we don't know how, but my thought is that our memories of Chip are really going to be good memories because of the person he was. That's all I got to say. Thank you very much.